In this video, we'll cover envelopes and labels. These can be pretty handy as you try to prepare things for an actual mailing. I know we don't do that as often now as we used to, but on occasion, that is something that you need to do, such as wedding invitations, graduation announcements, and so on. Recently, I had to mail something for my passport renewal. I was able to print an envelope, which was kind of cool, pretty quickly, and looked a lot nicer than if I had handwritten it. um, so to create these, let's go to the Mailings tab, open up the Mailings ribbon, and click on Labels. It opens up this dialog box, and you put in there the address that you want. And in this particular case, it's going to be your personal address. It doesn't have to be your real personal address, but this is your address. So I want to show you something before I do that. I'm going to insert an image into this page before I create these, and I want to show you what that does. So I liked some of these autumn ones that I looked at earlier. Let's check out. Let's use that one. So we're going to insert that. It's going to be too big, so we're going to resize that a lot. Oops. Didn't quite go the way I wanted. It's resizing it. It's not keeping the aspect ratio like I told you it would do. So let's say, no, that's going to be too small. Let's insert a different one. It's not going to be. Let's check out these stock images. All right, so I found a stock image of a little that I inserted. So now I'm going to go to Mailings again, and I'm going to create my label. Notice that it's got this little square over here. Well, that is because, actually, let me cancel something here real quick. Let me change the alignment. I'm going to use square. Then I'm going to do my labels again. Let's do this. That's a made-up address, just in case you were wondering. I want to, now I've got a couple options. I could just print, and it would print a sheet of these, full page of the same label. I could also choose to use a single label, tell it which position on my labels. Oh, by the way, this is the proper label that you choose. To select a different one, if it doesn't have the Avery US letter 5960, click on it. Comes up with this long list that you can use to select the correct label. So when you purchase these, they come in sheets, so they 3 columns, a whole bunch of rows. And when I used to use these fairly often, we would use a few at a time, so you'd want to be able to print your new labels starting at the point where you had labels to print, not on the wax paper that held the adhesive labels. So I want a full page, and I want it to, let's see, I could use a return address. Now the return address is the one that we'll get to that here in just a minute. So I want to create a new document. And notice that it created a new document with my image in it. As far as I know, that is the quickest way to apply or to get an image inside your labels. So that's kind of cool. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you do the assignment that has to do with labels is one of the steps, it's 20% of the grade, is quality. Effort was made to apply formatting to the label to make it unique. So the image is a start, but leaving the text just the way it was, you may not want to do that. Maybe you want to use a more unique font, something that's shows your personality a little bit. I'm going to use that guy. I can't read it very well. So if it's a mailing label, make sure you can read it. So you can do that. You can put borders around stuff in here, all kinds of stuff. I encourage you to, one of the things to keep in mind is this created a table. And you can come in here, you've got your table design, you can do some shading if you want. That's only going to do the one. There we go. So you can change the colors. You can have borders. We don't want borders because that's these lines that are just separating the labels from one another. You can change the font colors, all kinds of stuff. Bold, italics, what have you. Be creative. Work a little bit to get those 2 points. If you just give me a label that's the default, no images, the default font and font size, you're not going to get any points for quality. You did the work, but the quality was not what we were expecting there. I hope that makes sense. Have fun with this. Let's move into the envelopes. Something to keep in mind when you're doing envelopes. Typically, you do an envelope for something that you've already typed a letter, right? So let's go ahead and start a new document. You could do it there, but I'm gonna do it here. You can do it on the labels. That way you only have one document to upload for your submission, but I'm showing you how it typically is. So this is my letter, right? And now I'm ready to create an envelope for my letter. So I go up here to create an envelope. Typically what we're going to look for is the size 10 envelope. So we can keep that the same. It's got that information, so this isn't typically going to be there unless you've used this before. So let's say, let's put in something there. Okay. We have a specific delivery address we're supposed to use. And that is BYU, Idaho, 525 South Center Street, Rexburg. There's that zip code. Okay. Now we have two options. What you need to do for this particular assignment is add it to the document. What that's going to do is give you a section break above your letter with an envelope above it. So when you go to print, it's going to print your envelope first, and then it'll print your letter. You can also print straight from here, and then it'll just print your envelope. So I'm going to click Add to Document. Do I want to save that? This is the message that you're going to get when you use this for the first time. Do you want to save that new return address as the default? No, I don't, but there we go. Now it created my envelope, and I've got my letter. So when I see your submission, you can do this from here. I'll just give you an example. So I'm going to keep those the same. So you can submit it like this if you'd like. All right. Even added my little dragon to my return address, or to my addressee. Okay. That's all I need you to do is create your labels and your envelopes. You don't have to submit them as the same document, but it makes it a little quicker for me to look through them and grade them if you do, and I appreciate that. But you won't lose points if you don't. Just make sure you submit them in the way that I've showed you, either two separate documents or a single. Enjoy this assignment, and I hope you find this stuff useful.